Hey everyone, how you doing? Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you guys. Haven't done a video in about a week's time because I've been getting ready for spending vacation with my family and all that stuff. So I'm on vacation right now. I'm chilling with my family, I'm hanging out. But I figured I'd talk about Rise of Skywalker really quickly for you guys. Some of you guys probably wondering my thoughts, how I feel about the movie, what's happening. So this video will contain some spoilers. So just keep that in mind. This is not going to be a spoiler-free video or necessarily a review. It's just, this is gonna be my thoughts on the movie. Because I had about a few days to think about this, to really sit down and think about what I watched and to try to digest it all for you guys and keep it in one consensus thing for you guys. So, here we go. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you want to watch it, just keep your eyes off and your ears off of this video. So anyway, continuing. So, Rise of Skywalker. Where do I begin? I'll tell you this. I left the movie feeling very, and forgive me, I can't speak too loud because I'm sick. I have a sore throat, so I want to get this done in a good way. But I left the movies thinking like, I had mixed feelings immediately when I left the movie. From off the bat, there was things I did not like about the movie, and then there were things that I did like. So let me talk about what I liked. I liked a lot of the cinematography, all the action shots, all the colors, the locations. The score was accompanying it pretty okay. Some of the fights between Kylo and Rey I liked. And the ending fight I thought was flashy and I thought it was cool. I thought her wielding two sabers was kind of dope. But that's as far. That's as far as I get as far as what I liked. What I did not like, one, the kiss was weird. That kiss between Kylo and Rey was weird as Jack. It was off-putting. It didn't seem natural to me. His redemption arc was okay, I guess. It was believable. I was kind of upset that there was not a single trace of Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost anywhere in this movie. I felt like his Force Ghost should have been somewhere in this movie. It was not there. I mean, we got a Force Ghost from Han, out of all people. I thought that it would have been a lot more poetic if, in my opinion, from a writing point of view, narrative point of view, if Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost was the one to speak to Kylo Ren, to Ben Solo, and let him know that what he's doing is wrong. I felt like that would have been more poetic and more full circle, that somebody who was once seduced by the dark side and who has turned himself over to the light, essentially, and has cleared himself of all evilness. I felt like that would have been more of a poetic gesture and more of a romantic, as far as romantic. It's not the word I'm trying to use. This is a more poetic gesture between Anakin Skywalker and Ben Solo. So that's the issue that I felt was there. It was cool seeing Harrison Ford again, but it was just like, all right, we already kind of know he's done with this movie, this franchise, and that was that. It wasn't really too exciting. I didn't like the fact that okay, couple things with the Palpatine thing. I had no issue with Rey being a Palpatine, and I'll tell you why. There was so much hints in all of the three movies that Rey was a Palpatine. So it wasn't that shocking. The first movie, one of the things that I personally noticed, and I started noticing this when I looked at other research from over 3 years ago, that Rey's fighting style in The Force Awakens was very similar to Palpatine's in the prequels. Their whole stance and their pose, the way she was always just sort of angry and aggressive with her fighting style. To me, that was already a big hint that she was a Palpatine or had some type of lineage to Palpatine. In The Last Jedi, she immediately, when she was doing the training with Luke, she immediately gravitated towards the dark side easily, without trying to resist herself. I guess it called to her easily for her. Plus, Palpatine was in the concept art for Force Awakens, way before the movie was even filmed. So I wasn't too shocked about it, nor am I mad about it. There is an issue with it, though. There's a question that I'm asking myself: how on earth whose kids? Whose kids was this? Like Palpatine had kids, but who was making love with Palpatine? That's what I want to like. Who was making love with Palpatine? Who was up in space looking at Palpatine like, I want to make love with him and have babies? Like that didn't make sense to me. So it's like, it's either Palpatine was having kids somewhere between Empire Strikes Back and Force Awakens, and he probably had his son or whatever, or maybe something else happened. I don't know what happened, but Palpatine had a kid. Didn't seem like something he would do, but he had a son and his raised parents, and that was that. And it was like, okay, it wasn't a last minute thing. I just felt like J.J. Abrams, because the movie was between two different directors and they both had different visions for the movie, and for the franchise, is what kind of really messed this up too. Rian Johnson was leading this movie in a different way. Not necessarily that I liked it, but he was leading this movie in a completely different way. And guys, I just don't want to rant. I want to give a nice, pragmatic, constructive analysis or thoughts on the movie. I don't want to just rant for ranting's sake, because everybody's ranting, and it's all of a sudden cool to rant now. I just don't want to rant because everyone's ranting. I want to give you a good analysis review. But anyways, back to my point. That whole thing with him having kids was just kind of weird. And Rian Johnson, as I mentioned, excuse me, he didn't necessarily take the movie in a good way. He just kind of shifted it to a different direction to what we got in The Force Awakens. And you can tell the tone and the whole shift in narrative was completely different. I don't know what Kathleen Kennedy was trying to do. I don't know what happened, but that was that. And then J.J. Abrams came back and was like, okay, he wants to basically just finish what he was trying to do anyway. I personally felt that the movie, we should have had a long setup and build-up of Palpatine being the Emperor behind closed doors. We should have introduced him since the first movie. We should have had a lot more details, and they should have utilized the time a lot better between all these three movies to tell this story. So I always tell people, I found the best way to watch this movie is if you watch episode 7, 8, and 9 back to back, because I feel like episode 7, 8, and 9 is one movie. I don't feel like they're separate movies. I treat them as one movie because everything's so rush paced. It felt like if nothing happened within those three movies. And that's the sad part. It felt like nothing happened at all. And all that time that was spent, nothing happened. So that's the issue that I personally find that's going on with this movie. It's like, you watch the movie, it's rushed. The pacing was horrible. The pacing was just bad. And I don't know. The pacing, like I said, it felt so rushed, and the story was just going from one place to the next. It never took its time to build on characters. And it's kind of too late to do that, because they should have spent the last two movies building on characters. So that was that. What else didn't I like, per se? I had no issue with, and as a suggestion, if I were to rewrite the movie, I would have done it in a way where, let me just take this thing off real quick, sorry. Okay, yeah. I would have done it in a way where, because like or hate midichlorians, when George Lucas created the idea of midichlorians in the prequels, it basically said that Anakin was created from the midichlorians, and midichlorians brought him to life, essentially. They could have easily done a route where maybe Rey's parents are completely nobodies, but she was just chosen by the midichlorians, or chosen by the Force to be the new chosen one, I guess. That could have been another thing too. She didn't necessarily have to be connected to the thing. And a lot to Palpatine, and a lot of people say that how your genetics doesn't determine what kind of Force user you are. I don't think that's true, because the perfect example of that is Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. If you look at Darth Vader, this thing just keeps on trying to charge. Sorry, my phone just keeps on trying to charge when I don't want it to. Sorry about that. Yeah, if you look at Luke Skywalker is Anakin's son, and he was the only one powerful enough to stop him, or the powerful enough to face Darth Vader, and he was his son. So and same thing with Leia, and just another thing too. I don't understand why a lot of people were mad about Leia being a Jedi. if you read any of the now non-canon Legends material, they made Leia was a Jedi. She was part of the Jedi of the new Jedi Order. She was trained by Luke. She actually had a daughter. She used to wield, I think, 1 or 2 sabers. Like, she was already a Jedi in the comic books and the books. So it's nothing new. With her being a Jedi or her training Rey, that was completely fine. I think it's completely, like, it was totally okay for Leia to be the one to train Rey, because even if you read the Last Jedi book, the novelization, which is an extension of the movie, it talked about that as well, about Leia being trained by Luke and being a Jedi. So all of that is not news to me. But yeah, I felt like if maybe another thing too, like spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order, the games. If you plan on playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, just skip this part. But in that game, Cal Kestis, the main character, was looking for a holocron that was left from I forgot the master's name, that had a bunch of Force sensitive kids. I personally thought it would have been a lot better if on that list of Force sensitive children that Cal Kestis was looking for, maybe Rey's parents were on there, or maybe even Rey herself was on that list as being like a Force sensitive baby that was put on that holocron. You know, that would, to me, would have been a great segue for the story, and it would have added a nice depth to Rey that we needed. Except for, you know, everybody's saying Mary Sue, Mary Sue. I hate that term, Mary Sue, because everyone just loosely throws the word Mary Sue without really knowing what it means. But I guess you can say Rey did have a lot of. Oops, sorry guys, I got a call. Sorry about that. I can't edit. I guess you said Rey probably had a lot of Mary Sue qualities. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry this video is not as energetic. I'm just really want to talk about this movie. I'm not trying to like entertain you guys too much. I'm just trying to talk. And show you guys my thoughts. So overall, y'all, I'm gonna tell you this. I did laugh at some parts in the movie. I did get slightly emotional at some parts. I had all the emotion. I was angry. I was happy for some parts. I was sad at some parts. I was, slightly upset at some parts, because that's what the movie was. It was just like, some parts are good, some parts are bad. And narratively, it sucked, excuse me. Yeah, this is not edited, by the way. It's like completely unedited. But yeah, I would say this about the movie. I rated the movie about a 5 out of 10. Maybe a 4.5 out of 10. Maybe I'll watch it again and maybe I'll have a different viewpoint, but I didn't completely hate the movie where I'm like completely bashing it down or tearing it down for every fiber in his body. No. There's things that I did like. So like I said, I mentioned some of the stuff I liked. I did like a couple more. Excuse me. And I did not hate the movie. It was not something that I hated. Sorry. Yeah. That's all I can really say about the movie right now, guys. It's okay. It's not the worst movie I've seen. It's just okay. I did appreciate that they allowed Rey to use the Jedi books and to study them and to read them and to learn from them. I did appreciate that because it showed that she's getting the learning material somewhere. So that I did appreciate. I had no issues with that. That's all I can really say, y'all. There's more I could talk about, and I can go on forever and ever about this, but I don't want to keep this video on for too long. But movie was just alright. That's just Matthew V. Haynes' opinion on this movie so far. This how I feel about the movie right now. That's all I can say right about now. It was just alright. But anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Maybe I'll make another video at some point talking about something else. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Clockmaster out.